Welcome to On Thick Ice, a podcast about navigating relationship intricacies by two people who are just trying to make one work. I'm Emily.
And I'm John. Each week, we'll be tackling the pressing issues we all face in our relationships but rarely address head on.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. The holiday season is upon us yet again, and with the lights, the music, the holiday specials on TV comes nostalgia, traditions, gifts, headaches, arguments, burnt meals, in-laws. It's great.
Bad backs.
Bad backs.
Yes.
I guess we didn't get a real tree this year, so your back has survived so far.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it happens sometimes with the lights and stuff, but
Yeah.
I guess I was unscathed this year.
You were unscathed. I did most of the work, I think.
No, that's BS.
Anyway, that leads me
I
to
was
my
a
next
tree fluffer.
sentence. You're a fluffer?
I'm a tree fluffer.
Is that your official job title, fluffer?
It was that night.
This time of year is one of the best and worst times to be a couple because the
Or
fun.
a fluffer.
This time of year is one of the worst times to be married to John because the fun is real and so is the stress. Why are the holidays so stressful? Do we all face all the same problems in December? How can you keep the spark of your relationship as bright as the star on top of your tree? Let's talk about it. So I feel like this is going to be just talking a lot about stress.
Your favorite topic.
My favorite time. I'm stressed out 99% of the time. I'm like Punky. We're both just like fluffy balls of stress.
Waiting for something to attack you.
Exactly.
I can't even walk around in my own house without causing a fucking chaotic situation almost constantly.
You scare me.
I live here.
I know. So
I don't
do
know
I.
how to do that. I feel like I need a tapping stick, for the blind.
Yeah, just let me know when you're coming.
I don't really know how to do that. Or we need a blinker in your glasses.
Oh yeah, right.
Like a John's moving indicator.
Like a rear view.
Ding, 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 ding. Watch the fuck out. He's coming.
All right. Well, there's my stress laid out there on the table. Where does most stress come from during the holidays? What do you think?
Not having a John indicator.
For real.
Where is most stress?
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say the most stressful thing about the holidays is meeting expectations of something that probably isn't really there in the first place.
There you go. You hit on two of the three things that I pulled out. This is hard because, like you said, we've really de-stressed our situation.
Yeah. I mean, we know we can't buy each other gifts because we're both way too anal about the things that we like.
Exactly. Yeah.
We're very particular, so
Yeah.
and we are not that into each other to where we know the particularity. Is that a word?
No, it's not even that. It's just if we want something, we just buy it.
There's that too. Yeah, we're also very impatient.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's Christmas every day.
yes.
Well, anyway, so I identified three main stressors for most couples at the holiday season. And one of them, expectations. You have certain expectations about gifts, whether you're going to buy them for each other or not, how much you're going to spend, blah, blah, blah. Traditions. You both come from different families, hopefully. You probably have different traditions.
Hey, we're not judging. Hey, I actually, is it legal in some places? I don't know.
Okay.
That's another episode. Fair enough. Continue.
Expectations about meals, like traditional meals for what you're gonna eat on Christmas night.
Oh, not even that, but what the most ignorant, what you're going to feed others and how many people you have to accommodate.
Exactly.
Blech.
Where you're gonna spend the holidays. With all these different things, you are pretty much guaranteed to fall short somewhere.
Oh yeah.
So that's the first one. Okay, so the second main stressor at the holidays is time management, which is interesting to think about because the holiday season is long, especially if you do it the way I do it, where Christmas comes out on November 1st. But it's also really short because technically from Thanksgiving to Christmas and or the end of Hanukkah or whatever, you really only have about 6 weeks to get everything in. And there's a lot to get done. You've got shopping, decorating, holiday activities, seeing family, work parties, friend parties, all sorts of everything. It's not a lot of time.
No, no, and well, the competing
Yes.
aspects of it. I
Mhm.
mean, luckily I don't have friends, so I don't have to deal with this crap.
Yeah.
Um,
That works out so nicely for us that you don't have friends like all the time.
I do have friends. I just don't have friends that I communicate with on a local perspective. That's what I do.
His friends are all in his head.
Yes.
But yeah, the time management is a stress because it's a lot to get done in not a long period of time, even
Well,
though it feels like forever when you're in it.
yeah, I mean it does, and I do think that obviously technology has helped out
Mhm.
quite a bit in that perspective.
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, because back in the day, you didn't have the options you have today, like Amazon, like
Mhm.
something to somebody's house in a couple of days. You know, you
Yeah.
forgot about it last minute. I mean, now I think it's a more common practice to actually wait until the last minute to
Yeah.
buy presents. But
2-day shipping, baby.
yes, things have gotten a lot easier when it comes to the holiday season.
Mhm.
But there is no like Amazon for dealing with family. So
Exactly.
whoever can solve that problem.
That was a great segue, John, to my third main stressor
Oh
of the
wow,
holiday season.
cool.
And that is family. It's like the number one thing. Because I say this all the time, I'm not a great frame of reference for this, but even if you absolutely love your family and your in laws or your partner's family or whatever, whoever you have to be dealing with, there is not enough distance of time between Thanksgiving and the December holidays. It's too much of the same people in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And someone is getting on someone else's nerves somewhere.
Hmm.
Do you ever think about that? Like from January to November, how often are you stuck in a family dinner? How often, how often does the entire family get together?
Well, they're also very forced.
Well, yes, but then all of a sudden it's November and you have to spend a random Thursday with these people. You're probably spending Friday with them too if you have to stay over. And then 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, you have to see the same people.
Yeah.
Nothing's changed. You have nothing more to talk about. You already talked about it all at Thanksgiving. You're probably still pissed off about some conversation you had with someone that day. You're eating the same shit again. You're probably wearing the same shitty sweater. Like, dude, I never thought about that, but there is not enough distance between the two main family holidays.
Well, you know,
Put Thanksgiving in June.
Actually, I think it actually works.
Yeah?
Now that I think about it, yeah, because if you don't really have like an excuse to not hit one family for one of the holidays. So you could actually like interchange Thanksgiving and Christmas
Mm-hmm.
with your in-laws and your, you know, however you want to look at
Like,
that.
you go to mine for Thanksgiving, we go to yours
Yeah.
for Christmas.
And you just interchange throughout the years, and you know, it's just an ongoing switch. Because what I hate is
Mhm.
having to see everybody for each holiday,
Right.
and that's annoying. But if you break them down, that's actually an advantage.
If you throw Thanksgiving in June, you can still split them up.
Yes,
And instead of turkey,
but
have a burger.
but
What?
you can look at that January to November stretch as your freedom.
Your warm up, crack the back, stretch it out.
right. You gotta first. It's like the what is it? The 5 steps of mourning or something.
Yeah.
That it, like yeah. So like January to March is recovery. March to whatever is forgetting.
September is denial.
Right. Middle of September is. So I'm almost in favor of this after like analyzing it.
Okay. Okay. All right. So 6 weeks of hell in exchange for 46 weeks of freedom.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, because you got to look at it like this. All right. So Thanksgiving, Christmas
Mhm.
are the big boys.
Mhm.
All right. New Year's, you can do what the hell you want. That's normally something that people do on their own.
Mhm.
That's not a family event. St. Patrick's Day, Flag Day. I think there's a donut day in there somewhere. None of these are family events. You can get out of going to donut day with your mom, right?
Mhm.
What are the actual holidays? I'm forgetting them now.
All the holidays.
Like July 4th. Yeah, there we go. There goes some. Yeah.
Arbor Day.
I don't even know what that is. So I've never celebrated that one. I've never celebrated Flag Day either, but it was just the first thing that came to mind.
Easter, Valentine's Day. Those are other holidays.
Easter.
Easter doesn't count.
Nah.
Easter's a fake holiday.
Halloween, yeah, fake, but that's like an internal family
Yeah.
kind of holiday. So there's not really like Thanksgiving and Christmas you can't get out of. All the rest of them, it's a lot easier to. So
I was just thinking, I feel like I have a more jaded point of view from this because my birthday is also December 29th.
yeah.
So it's like birthdays aren't technically a family event, but everybody does call you or text you or send you whatever. Everybody wants to talk to you on that day. So it's like I can't get no satisfaction in December.
Well, you get hammered because you
Yeah.
have Christmas, birthday, New Year.
Mhm.
It's like, oh,
In a
hey,
week.
I'm gonna message you every single time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should just like broadcast or have like a Insta reply like on Christmas Day. Just be like, I accept this for the rest of them. Have a good one. Don't talk to me
I
again.
see you every day. Can't I just say good month?
Right. Exactly.
Just give me a happy December on the 1st and let me fucking live my life.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have it as bad as you. I mean,
Yeah.
I sometimes my birthday lands on Labor Day. Lucky me.
Yeah, because you get off work for free. You don't have to use a PTO day.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess technically speaking,
Mhm.
it's appropriate.
Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Okay, so I thought we could get into just in more detail, break it down a little more. Specific problems that seem to surface around the holidays.
Okay.
So I think I've got like 7 here. Okay. Not being honest about holiday spending.
Mm-hmm.
So, not being honest about spending in general, not a great thing, but at the holidays, because you've got not just like gifts, right, that you're buying for each other or for other people or whatever, but food, travel, parties, decorations, all sorts of very specific things.
All of the unknowns, the people that bought you shit, that blah blah blah.
Mhm. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's a exhaustive list.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you're planning on exchanging gifts, you should probably set a budget, or at least like some sort of understanding around it, so that you both know what to expect, and one of you doesn't go like the handmade route while the other one went to Cartier. You're not really on the same wavelength there.
So what perspective are we talking about right now?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Are you talking about husband and wife or just in general?
I guess for that one, I was talking about with each other, but I mean, that's probably a good thing for anybody that you're exchanging gifts with. You should probably have an understanding of whether or not you are even going to be exchanging gifts, and if you are, limits should be, because I would hate to have to lie to you about how much I spent buying my friends gifts because we didn't talk about.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes in many directions. And again, this is completely oversimplified for us because we don't really do this.
Yes.
Well, for friends and stuff though, that's another story.
Mhm.
Like, what are we going to budget ourselves for friends
Mhm.
and family, and that gets tricky.
Yeah.
Because you want to be fair,
Mhm.
and then you also don't want to be in some certain cases. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think on an individual level, it's also very, like on a husband wife
Mhm.
relationship level.
Mhm.
It's very difficult because especially if there's kids involved. I think now, obviously, I don't
Right.
really have that problem.
Yeah.
We don't have that problem, but that probably has a huge impact on
Oh,
how
yeah.
crazy you
Yeah.
would be with each other. So thinking from a single relationship, like no children
Yeah.
relationship perspective, that's really tough because you're likely gonna, I mean, you have to hide some portion of it. Like, you
Right.
have to.
Yeah.
And not doing so is very difficult when you're sharing accounts and things along those lines, and you have open visibility to finances, which we do, which makes things very complicated.
Yes.
I can say, hey, don't look at this card, but I mean, that's like literally dangling a carrot in front of a donkey. Like, come on.
The good news is I never check the bank account ever. I like to live in ignorance.
You will if you needed to. You know this.
Oh, gosh.
So, yeah, I don't really have a good answer for this. I think it's very situational.
Yeah.
And I don't even want to talk about it right now.
Just gotta have the discussions.
Yeah.
And, it's not just for gift exchanging and shit like that. Like, it helps for other things, too. Like, hey, I'm gonna participate in the Office Secret Santa. So, expect me to be spending $50. Hey, I need a new dress for the Christmas Eve party. So, expect me to be spending $100. Don't just, like, do it and then be surprised when you're having a fight on Christmas Eve because you can't afford to buy gas to get to the fucking party in the first place. I think you kind of hit the nail on the head earlier. The reason that this is such an issue is because there's a lot of unexpected or forgotten expenses at the holidays, more so than other times of the year.
Yeah.
So you gotta be more on it at this time of year, I feel like.
Well, people will like invite you to a place like last minute, and you're like, oh God, we got to bring something,
right? Yeah.
Or I don't have a top that fits me after Thanksgiving. Like we gotta stop by Kohl's.
Yeah.
I need a new belt. No.
Another problem we have touched on already, but we can get into it a little more if we want. Figuring out where to celebrate without pissing everybody off.
Yeah. That I don't think exists.
I don't think there's a good solution to that. Whose family are you doing what with and when? My opinion, personally, is decide as a couple what you want to do and don't give a fuck what anybody else is going to say about it.
That's all you can do.
Because it gets too complicated. Especially when you start thinking about, like, oh my God, like, divorced parents. All of a sudden, you've got 4 sets of parents that you have to go to. And so, I mean, this is basically the plot of 4 Christmases that I'm acting out here.
The other thing that I just kind of thought about is you could be heavily swayed because of, like, possibly health issues or things along those lines. And that to you may seem fair, but to the rest of your family and so on that you're not seeing or neglecting, that's not going to fly well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really complicated when you think of like the complexities of each situation.
Yeah.
And
yeah, your grandma doesn't care that it's my grandpa's last Christmas. She wants you over for Christmas Eve.
Right. Yeah. Like this is, I mean, quote unquote, possible not. Let's hope not.
Yes.
But it could be. And what really sucks about that is it could be the last one for the next 10.
Right. Yeah.
Right? And then the one that you don't go was the last one.
Grandpa was hanging on by a thread.
Yes. And maybe that's why they put 3 holidays so damn close to each other.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, you got to split that shit up.
Yeah, I just, in general, this was always pretty easy for us because your family was farther away, so mine was just the default. And that just made our life really easy, and now we're far away, and that's good for us because we don't have to do anything.
Right, but it is going to get complicated when we want to, split our time between the 2 families and the impact it's going to have on personal vacations.
I know. Another issue.
Funnily
enough, I don't think that you and I ever had an issue with this.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Drinking getting out of hand at this time of year.
We didn't have a problem with this?
I mean, not specifically at Christmas.
Oh, yeah, because it was, it was just out of hand.
It was just all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, from the perspective of someone who doesn't drink all the time, there's a lot of booze this time of year. You're going to events, you're going to parties, you're, the office, Michael Scott shows up with 15 bottles of vodka to get 20 people plastered. I don't know, like, even if neither of you has a problem with alcohol, you might be drinking more than usual.
Or you got a lot of time off,
Exactly.
There's a lot of things going on here.
Yeah. And it's not necessarily saying that like everybody's turning into an alcoholic. It's just that you are probably likely to have a stupid fight if you're drunk.
Yep. That is for sure.
Yes. And also, you want to make sure one of you keeps your wits about you, because one of you might end up with the stomach flu on Christmas Eve and have to go to the hospital. And someone's got to drive you.
Yeah. There's that.
Thank God you went to sleep and sobered up to take me to the hospital.
Ay, ay, ay.
That was the worst Christmas ever. But yeah, just yeah, that's obviously just could be an issue in so many different ways. Just take it easy on the eggnog. Don't drink and drive. Take an Uber, and don't drink and argue, because you're gonna feel really stupid about it in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's like so many more things to argue about this time of year.
Because you're already on edge.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I mean, you're literally just adding gasoline to a fire pit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and to boot, if we go back to one of our previous episodes where we were talking about the holidays, and that being like the divorce hump.
Yes.
Like, we'll deal with it after the holidays. So you've also got a lot of that tension building up as well, and trying to keep the peace. So you're bottling up during this time of year. Like, whether you know it or not, you're likely trying to hold back because you just want to preserve the good. So I could see that being like a ticking time bomb.
Yeah, you are a metaphorical bottle of champagne, and when you pop the literal bottle of champagne, that cork is...
Yeah. So yes, I could agree with this.
Yeah. Clashing holiday traditions. Okay. So things like, I feel like this possibly could be more of an issue if there's kids involved.
Okay.
Because I think people get a little more nostalgic when it comes to their children. But you got things like opening presents on Christmas Eve versus Christmas Day.
Yep.
Going to church or staying home. Lots of gifts or less is more. Those kinds of things. I think the reason that it becomes such an issue is not because you really care so much about the specific thing, but the fact that holiday traditions are rooted in nostalgia. Of course, there's going to be feelings involved about it. For the last 29 years, I've opened my presents on Christmas Day, and now you want me to open my presents on Christmas Eve? Like, no, that's crazy. I'm not going to do that.
Who would not want to do that?
Well, yes, exactly.
It's a really bad example.
But I know, but that's a very common example, though, because that's a split thing. Like, a lot of, it's like one or the other that people do. So yeah, it's like, do you really care about when you open your presents? Probably not. It's just the fact of keeping up the tradition and the nostalgia and the ties that you feel to your childhood.
Right.
Like, if you're arguing over turkey versus lasagna for Christmas dinner, like, you got to ask yourself, is the dry turkey really important to you? Or is it just the memories of having eaten the dry turkey every year for 29 years?
Yes.
I'm team lasagna all day.
I really appreciate the turkey. And I think...
But you just had it on Thanksgiving.
No, I know. I'm just speaking holiday in general, not Christmas. I'm just like, turkey isn't something you eat
throughout the year
on a regular basis. So for me, that's like that's when you eat the turkey in the year.
You gotta eat all the turkey before the buzzer,
right?
On midnight.
That's when you eat the turkey is those days. But I'm also open to other things. It's not a forced, like, if it's the day before or the day after, I'm not going to lose my shit. But I would like some turkey. I mean, otherwise it's going to be like chicken. And,
right.
And it's just, there's nothing special about that. The rarity of the turkey preserves the nostalgia, I think.
Okay.
So,
what was your worst Christmas Eve meal?
Worst Christmas
or Christmas Day meal? Do you have a worst Christmas? I feel like you don't remember your childhood. I feel like you popped out 30 years old.
Yeah, I mean, worst Christmas. I mean, nothing really like sticks out as worst. I mean,
One was the year when I was like 15 or 16, where my mom's boyfriend was Jewish and she decided that we weren't going to celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah because he didn't celebrate Hanukkah. So, come Christmas Day, we didn't do anything and we didn't have any food in the house. So, the only place to go for dinner was where all the other Jewish people went, which was the Chinese buffet. And you know my feelings about buffets, even 13 years ago, not going to happen. So that was one. And two was the Christmas Eve that I got food poisoning and died.
yes, I could see that.
That one really fucking blew.
You know, I mean,
That was our first Christmas together, too.
I feel like I had to have had something like that happen in my time. I just don't hold on to stuff like that. Like I just
Oh, I do. I hold a grudge.
I don't know.
I'm still pissed off.
I know we've had a lot of conversations recently about just how weird I am, but yeah, I don't. When I think nostalgia, I don't know. I think I just see it differently than others.
Yeah, you're weird. Number 5, toxic in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
I could get real with this one if I wanted to, but I'm just gonna say, thankfully for both of us, I cut your toxic in-laws out of our lives, so we don't have to worry about them anymore.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
You are welcome.
they didn't have a impact on me anyway. So
Yeah, I know. I know. Unfortunately, there are different levels of toxic, of course, and for me, I'm always going to take it to the extreme because that's where my, my situation is. But if you have to deal with people that you don't want to, you just got to manage your expectations and not let it get to you because like you were saying earlier, you're bottling things up and that's what causes the issues and the arguments, and you're pissed off about your mom and then that feeds into you didn't put your socks in the hamper and now we're getting divorced, right? That's how those things build up. If your mother-in-law always has some backhanded shit to say, don't expect her to be nice. Just expect that she's going to say the backhanded shit and just roll with it. Like
well, yeah, I think you kind of got to like gamify it a little bit. This is completely off topic, but I think it's a relevant example. So we watch The Impractical Jokers.
Yes.
Joe Gatto, he just doesn't lose.
Yeah.
He has, when he receives a challenge or a punishment or whatever it is, I've thought a lot about this, and I think what he does is he takes whatever he's being told to do, and he now in his brain is like, okay, how can I just completely overdo this?
Yes.
Now he's in a competition with himself at that point.
Yes.
He's like, okay, they asked me to do this, but that's not enough.
I'm gonna do this.
Let
and that.
me do this, and this. So I think adding that extra layer and embracing the crazy and really just like, you're anticipating it. You already know it's going to go there.
Yeah.
So how can you turn this into entertainment?
Right.
It is really like how you could really preserve your own brain power.
Make it a drinking game.
It's going to be bad, but in your head, like you have like a leaderboard, like
yeah.
Where does this rank on the general scale?
Take a shot every time your sister says some bullshit. You know what would be fun that I just thought of? Very like low stakes, but like would make me laugh. I don't know why. Like this is so stupid. But every time the person who's pissing you off says something that pisses you off, whatever that means for you, put a cracker in their purse. And then when they get home, they're just gonna have a purse full of crumbs.
That's actually really funny. Oh my god. This is gonna be like one of those things that we hear about like 5 years from now.
I invented
the living
that.
law. I got crackered. I think we should probably work on the term, like what we call it.
Yeah, it's a little off color.
maybe we should use a crouton or something.
Crouton. Oh gosh. The moral of the story is just manage your expectations because shitty people are going to be shitty. If you try, this is probably a really negative thing for me, but I've spent my life dealing with shitty people. If you try to have a positive outlook on it, you're gonna end up disappointed.
Yep.
Because they are not positive. So just manage your expectations, talk about it with your partner so that you both are on the same page, and have a code word to get out of it. If you need a break, if you need to leave, if you need to go for a walk around the block, just call mistletoe and get the hell out of there. Okay, 6. Different philosophies about gifts.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't necessarily spend, but the emphasis on types of gifts, intent behind gifts, homemade versus bought, the number of gifts that you receive for each other or for other people. Think of like the first Christmas that you spend with someone, right? Or holiday, whatever. You don't quite know what their expectations are. Maybe you say like, hey, are we buying each other gifts? And she says yes, and you're like, cool, great. And she buys you 15 really awesome things and one big thing, and you just bought her one thing because that's what you thought.
Kind of awesome thing.
Right, right. Like, think of the episode of Friends where Rachel and Phoebe are looking in Monica's apartment for their Christmas gifts, and they get Chandler to help out because they make him feel insecure that he bought her one really great gift, and they're like, well, what if she bought you one really great gift and 20 awesome little gifts? Then what are you gonna do? Why would you make her cry like that, Chandler? Why? That's more what I'm thinking. And then you've also got the Jim and Pam of it all, the Christmas where they are going homemade and she makes him the comic book and he ends up giving her a bracelet, and of course it works out nicely for them because they're Jim and Pam, but in real life, don't you think that would cause maybe a little bit of tension? Don't you think you'd feel a little insecure?
I mean, personally, I think Pam was shafted, but I think there were some feelings there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, a bracelet, come on.
Bracelet. But it just, again, brings me to our favorite word here on this podcast. Communicate. 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 Set the expectations. Talk about it, not just with each other. Make sure you let them know, like, hey, it's really important to me that I buy my mom something really nice and expensive every year because that's just how I show my appreciation to her. Nobody's surprised on Christmas morning when mom's opening up, you know, a Tiffany bracelet or whatever. Apparently bracelet's not good enough for you, but something. Or just tell them exactly what you want and hope that they get it. It's really not that hard.
It's very hard, but that's what she said.
My personal opinion is that this is something that should be resolved in the first year. If you're 10 years down the road and you still are fucking up the gift game, get your shit together. Yeah,
you disconnected somewhere.
Yeah. It's more than just the gift at that point. You just fucking suck.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, the last issue that the internet told me was finding time to connect when your schedules are hectic.
Okay. And this is stress. Oh, not being able to connect?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, got it.
Not being able to connect.
Okay.
So like we've been saying, it's a busy time of year. Maybe the way that you fix things is that you do things separately. You go to your family, I go to my family. You have separate office parties, you have separate friends parties, you have all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
So, how do you nurture your relationship during the holidays? How do you nurture your relationship during the holidays?
How do I buy gifts?
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That works out because I'm a spoiled brat.
Yes.
So that makes me happy.
Yes.
I can take it.
I play to my audience.
No,
I mean, I would say like when we were back home, you know, we would go places with each other, you know, things that are important to you. I want to try to support.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just a simple example, and it was a fail, but the skating, you know, we went and did the ice skating, and you know, I haven't done that in a very long time.
Mm-hmm.
I have a very short fuse.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to at least give it a go. I didn't want to just be that person that's like, no, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I wanted to be open-minded. I wanted to give it an honest try.
Mm-hmm.
And if it didn't go well, then we know that.
Yes.
But at least I didn't just say no.
You gave it the old college try.
So we went, we did it. I hated it. I figured I was going to hate it. But I had to give it a shot.
You gave it a shot.
So, yeah, just be open to try things and, be willing to go out of your comfort zone to appease your other half.
I think of the year we got married and we were leaving for our honeymoon on Christmas Day. So all year you kept telling me we're not decorating for Christmas. We're not getting a Christmas tree. It's pointless because we're going to have to take it down before we go. And I was just reminded by my phone reminders this morning that we made it all of 4 days into December of me crying about not having a Christmas tree before you finally drove me to the Christmas tree farm to pick one out. And we put it up and we decorated it and then we took it down on the 24th and threw it out before we left for our flight the next morning.
Thank God my back didn't blow out.
You do a good job of nurturing my annoyances. Last year, I don't know how you lived with me. I was a miserable fuck last year.
It was just a miserable time.
Yeah.
I set my expectations correctly.
Boom, roasted, mic drop.
I knew it was going to be shitty. So I tried to rub lemons all over that shit,
yes.
And all it did was turn everything yellow.
Yes. So that's the Shacklet way of nurturing relationships during the holidays.
What do you do? We just talked about me.
What do I gotta do? You're fine.
How do you nurture the relationship? What do you contribute in this 50% relationship?
I put the ornaments on the tree. I make us watch the Christmas movies.
No, how do you nurture our relationship? Not how do you decorate and watch TV?
Blowjobs.
That is not.
I don't know. I don't think. Do you need nurturing?
Not really, but you asked me.
Okay.
And you wanted an answer?
Yeah.
So I want an answer.
That's my answer. You don't need nurturing. You're fine.
I turn on the TV. I make Christmas turkey.
I mean, yeah, really. I mean, that's how I nurture our relationship during the holidays. I fucking feed you. I made you a beautiful Thanksgiving dinner and then you passed out for 15 fucking hours. You think you're not nurtured?
Very literal. Very, very literal.
I made you 2 whole pumpkin pies.
How do I nourish our relationship? I water it and feed it.
Literally.
It's got electrolytes. What plants need.
I water you, I feed you, I take you on walks. You're fine, okay?
Fair enough. All right. Yeah.
Do you need more nurturing, really? Do I need to? What do you need from me?
No,
Communicate.
I guess a hamster wheel.
We get a hamster.
No, a wheel.
Aww.
You know our cats would love a hamster.
We get one of those cat wheels that they can run on. They're getting a little chunky.
Those things are expensive bro.
I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I see these people with them on TikTok and I'm like, what do you do for a living? Jeez.
Right.
Anyway, I mean, compared to our nurturing, this seems pretty boring. What the internet has to say about it. Make your relationship a priority. You should probably do that all the time. Says, even if you're at your office party or your mom's house or your friend's white elephant shindig, make it a point to spend time with your partner. Introduce them to people. Include them in conversations. And if you're staying at someone else's house, try to get alone time with them.
Yuck. Don't do that at my house. Hey. Bathroom's free.
Check in daily.
Check in daily.
I mean, this is easy for us because we're up each other's asses 24/7. But says, if you're spending the holidays apart or both working and dealing with holiday obligations and you've become like 2 ships passing in the night, it's really easy for that to happen. So just make sure to schedule some us time, whatever that may be.
You know what? This is it right here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We might have to cut this out.
Okay. I love when John says that.
So, like, a day. I mean, they already have the fucking advent calendars. Just have like a relationship, like touch base advent. you pull out like something on let's see, like December, like it's like a SOS symbol, like it's begun. There's a Mortal Kombat, like on the 25th, finish them.
You know, a little piece of chocolate and a reminder to text your girlfriend. I mean, come on.
But like that's something you do as like a family, like the advent calendar.
Yeah.
This could be something you could do as like a couple.
I think those exist in certain ways, like date night advent calendars. I don't think you invented that. But it's not a bad idea.
No, it's not date night. It's this. It's make sure you're retaining your sanity advent calendar.
Gotcha.
Specifically because of that, what they just said.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
We're gamifying the industry here.
We just gamify our entire lives.
Yes.
All right. Check in daily. Got that. Honor your differences. If they're not big into church, let them stay home. If you're an introvert and dread the holiday parties, let them go by themselves or take a friend. Manage your differences up front so you don't end up building resentment.
Yeah.
Don't take your 40-year-old husband ice skating and expect to have a good time.
Yes. Exactly. And it's not because I'm 40, and it's not because I don't know how to ice skate. I know how to do that. I did not enjoy the fact that we were at the most popular ice skating rink that has ever existed in our city, and it's a tourist trap, and anybody who steps foot on that ice is probably just shy of, like, not even a beginner.
Like me. I wanted one of those polar bears that the kids had to hold on to push. 4. Listen non-reactively. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much going on at this time of year. Everyone is on edge, and it can be easy to take things personally. Hello, Emily, party of one.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
Try to make it a point to let them vent or deal with their stresses and dissatisfaction without creating an argument where there isn't one.
This is something I'm working on right now, actually.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Letting me vent or what?
Not responding, because my instant reaction is solving problems.
Yes, and I don't want my problem solved.
Right.
Yes.
So I am trying to do better from the perspective of offering guidance, which can be perceived as me talking to you as a child from your perspective.
This is something that I think is a very generalized gender issue. Just because I see it a lot. Like, it's like things on, like, trends on TikTok. I see it with my friends and whatever. Like, women, generally, we like to vent just to vent. And we want you to just be like, yeah, that sucks. Men want to be like, solve the problem.
Well, why didn't you do it this way?
Right.
Why didn't you do it that way?
Right.
And that comes across very accusatory.
Yes.
And
like the water boiling over on the stove.
Right.
I know exactly what I did to make that happen, and now I'm annoyed, and you're like, well, why didn't you do this? Well, it doesn't fucking matter now. It already happened.
Right. And from my perspective, like, it's when I see patterns, I try to fix the pattern.
Yeah.
If this happens over and over and over again, it's like, okay, well, what are you not changing that is going to make this stop happening?
Right.
Because apparently you are defining insanity right now by doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting a different result. And
I just want to bitch about it.
Right. And for me, watching this from a distance and seeing you get irritated about it, it makes me irritated because I just see you doing this to yourself, and I'm like, well, why don't you change the process? And that's not what you want to hear. Yeah. And I understand that sometimes.
This is good advice for just all year round.
Right. And I'm not doing this because of the holidays. I'm doing this because I am just trying to better adapt to us. Yeah. And just in general, because that nobody wants that shit.
Yeah. The last one that I've got here actually ties into the On Thick Ice podcast cinematic universe. Remember their love languages. It's easy to get wrapped up in, it's the holidays, I must shower you with gifts to prove my love. But that's not the case for everyone. It might be more meaningful for them to take a walk to see Christmas lights than to open a present.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or both.
I want to open presents while I look at Christmas lights.
That's why we have a tree.
Boom. Roasted.
Yes. So we don't have to go on the walk?
We gotta go on the walk.
Damn.
So basically, I mean, honestly, just like any other time of year, all the same shit applies. It comes down to the same thing every time. Communicate, manage your expectations, and just be aware that you're both probably on edge right now, and whatever the problem is, if you were dealing with it in like April, probably wouldn't be as big of a deal.
Sure.
Just take the edge off. Just eat an edible. Do something. Just
I don't know. I have a different proposal.
Oh yeah?
Yes.
Okay, go for it.
Remove the excitement from your life.
Oh, just be joyless.
Yes. Absolutely. And what I mean by that is removing the ebbs and flows.
Okay.
So instead of seeing Christmas or New Year's or Thanksgiving as this almighty pinnacle of your year, lessen that a little bit. You know, like the pussy on a pedestal thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We need to just like kind of level the playing field a little bit with these holidays in our own relationship and not really put them too high on a pedestal. Because when you do that, you're really introducing a lot of falsehoods, if you will. You have an excuse to go party more and go drink more and do this. You have an excuse to be more excessive with gift giving and blah, 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 blah. But if you really just like, kind of like what you said, you know, just from like a relationship perspective, you know, if you just keep it steady like that throughout the entire year, you're not, obviously you have the external factors to deal with. Those are always going to still be there. But if you just like level the playing field in your own relationship and not really look at Christmas as special, or which it is. And I mean, there's other ways
I know what you mean.
to still respect it, but it's not like, it's not something you've worked your whole life to get to.
Right.
You know?
It's just, it's a special day, but it's just a day. It's a special season, but it's just a season.
Well,
don't put too much emphasis on it.
For instance, like you have kids, like you want to make Christmas special for kids, but they have birthdays too.
Yes.
Do you ruin your life with everything around you because of a kid's birthday? No, the world doesn't stop. You don't stop going to work. You don't stop seeing family. All of the same rules apply. It's just not Christmas.
Right.
So if you level the playing field and remove that layer of false reality around something that just has a special title, then you might actually see things from a more holistic perspective and not wind yourself up like a fucking crazy person because of Christmas is coming. It's like, here we go. It's like Game of Thrones. Winter is coming. Christmas is coming. It's like, you just know it's gonna fucking suck.
And on that note, happy holidays from our family to yours.
On Thick Ice is created, hosted, and produced by Emily and John Shacklet.
To join the conversation, follow us on Instagram and Twitter at OnThickIcePod, email us at onthickIcepod@gmail.com, or call our hotline 415-494-7275. Subscribe to On Thick Ice wherever you get your podcasts.